Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today, as the title depicts, I'm going to be talking about my experience with depression and how I actually overcome it. So to start off, I actually had no idea how severe depression could be, and I only knew it when I experienced this incident where my closest friend actually attempted to take her life because of depression, and that was a really difficult experience because I was there to go through that whole trying to save her life situation, and it's an experience that I can never forget. And I told myself at that point of time that I never would want this to happen to me or to anyone else around me. However, in 2016, I was diagnosed with reactive depression. So what is reactive depression? So there are 10 most common types of depression. So the first one will be the major depression, which is also known as your clinical depression. Second will be dysthymia, which is your high functioning depression. Then there's manic depression, which is your bipolar disorder. Postpartum depression, seasonal affective depression, psychotic depression, premenstrual dysphoric disorder, premenstrual dysphoric disorder, atypical depression, situational depression, which is what I mentioned before, the reactive depression, and also disruptive mood dysregulation disorder. So I will not be going into details every single type of depression that I just mentioned. So if you really want to know more about it, you can actually go to this website here and check it out yourself. So let's start. So what I'm going to be talking about today is my experience with reactive depression and how I actually overcome it. So as I mentioned earlier just now, I do not actually know the severity of depression until I experienced the situation with my best friend. So a little background about reactive depression is that this is a short-term stress-related type of depression, and it only develops after a person experiences with traumatic events or a series of changes to their everyday life. And this type of depression is actually called adjustment disorder, which means that you are struggling to come in terms with change in your life, and because of that struggle, you are actually falling into the depression category. So for reactive depression, it actually takes about 90 days of the triggering event for symptoms to actually be surfacing, and this kind of depression actually resolves when the stress no longer exists or the person is able to adapt to the situation. So how was I diagnosed with reactive depression? So back in 2016, I actually got out of a relationship which didn't end on a very good note, and prior to that there was a huge change in my job, and I was struggling to actually come to terms with the fact that there are these changes which is taking place right after the end of my relationship, and it took me about 2 to 3 months to actually be diagnosed with reactive depression, and to actually seek help from a therapist. So I've always been an introvert, but when I'm with my friends, I'm actually pretty outgoing and pretty vocal, and I actually confide in my friends a lot. So when I was diagnosed with reactive depression, it was kind of like a something embarrassing to me, and I couldn't bring myself to actually approach my friends. And at that point of time, I'm actually glad that I am okay with therapy, talking to a psychologist, and getting the help that I need. So I was on medication for a month and a half, and it made me realize that medication could only help me fall asleep. Medication could only help me at that moment, but there are still things that are weighing me down in my head. There are still things that are weighing me down in my heart, and it's actually affecting my daily life. And I actually had to not continue my contract because of that, because I actually want to bring my life back together, be on the right frame of mind before I start going back to work and caring for the kids. So I left my first job in 2016, and for about 6 months to a year I was home and overcoming the situation. So the first thing that I did was to stop my medication 1.5 months after taking it, and actually went to confide in my friend who has depression, which was the one that I talked about before. I went to her and I started talking to her. I started hanging out with her, and all this talking and all this letting out of how I feel inside, all my emotions, it actually helps the symptoms go down a bit. And it's not only helping me, but it's also helping her at the same time, because when we both talk to each other, we know that someone is there to care for us and someone is there to listen when we need to. Second thing that I did was to talk to my mom. I have a very close relationship with my mom, so when I knew that I had reactive depression, it actually took me a while to open up to my mom and let her know, because after all, I was worried that she might be too worried for me, and I didn't want to add on more stress to her life. However, I'm pretty grateful that I have a very supportive mom who has been supportive of me and everything that I do since I was young. So when she came to me and talked to me and listened to me when I had to talk, it really helped a lot by knowing that not only do I have a friend that I can confide in, my family is there for me as well. So then the situation actually got better, and I didn't have to take medication anymore at that point in time. Firstly, because I feel that medication really does nothing but ruins the body, and it's not good to be on it long term and have the habit of taking medication. Secondly is because I have people to confide in, so I'm feeling less of the symptoms that I felt when I was alone. So after which, confiding in one friend and then confiding in my mom, I started to reach out to a few more of my close friends and told them about my situation. And I'm really grateful that all these friends are actually very supportive of me. They are there to listen to me when I need to talk, and also they do not judge, they do not think any lesser of me, and they're always there to support me. So when you are caught in such situations, it's always good to talk to your friends. It's always good to talk to people. If you do not feel comfortable talking to people who are close to you, as you are afraid that they might judge you, you can actually go to a psychologist, talk to someone you don't know, or you can write them down in a blog or in your own diary. Letting these feelings and emotions out, it actually helps more, and it actually helps control your symptoms and situation. It's always better to let your emotions and how you feel out rather than keeping it in just in your heart and letting it manifest in there. So the next thing I did was to watch what I eat. So if you actually go on to research, you will realize that a lot of people are saying that your diet actually affects your mood. Your diet actually affects you. Your diet actually affects your depression state. So that was when I researched, and I found out that one way to actually overcome and cope with this situation is to watch my diet, and also to do exercise. Doing exercises actually release endorphins in your body, which makes you feel happier, and it brings up your mood. So what I did was I watched my diet, and at that point of time, because of the whole situation I was in, I had very irregular eating time. I had very irregular eating meals. Like one meal can be a lot, and one meal can be a little bit, just a little bit, and then the other meal I just not eat at all, and that has caused my gastric to actually worsen. Like, I do have gastric problems before, but because of this whole situation, my gastric actually worsened. That actually made me realize that I need to be healthy. I need to take care of my body, and I need to watch my diet and my meals to make sure that my body is healthy before I can get my whole depressive state back to normal. So what I did was I watched my diet. I went on a gluten-free diet because my gastric already has a problem. So cutting down on my gluten would actually help repair the walls of my gastric. So I was on a gluten-free diet for about a year. So for like that 6 months to a year, I was taking up part-time jobs here and there. So most of the time I'm at home, and whenever I'm free or whenever I'm watching a video, I actually do my workout. I lost a good amount of weight, and that actually lightens my mood. It makes me happier, it makes me feel good, and that actually helps my depression symptoms to actually go down a bit, and I do not feel as depressed as I was before. So the next thing that I changed in my life is my sleeping schedule. So because for that 6 months to a year where I was at home and only doing part-time, I actually changed my sleeping schedule. So I used to sleep like way past midnight, like 1 plus 2 a.m. just to finish my work for the next day, and that actually plays a factor in affecting my gastric and causing it to get worse as well. So after I was diagnosed with reactive depression, and I decided to change my lifestyle, I started to sleep at 10:30 every day, and waking up as early as 7:30, 8 o'clock. Yeah, so having enough sleep is one of the main things you can do that will make your mood actually feel a lot better. And this change in my sleep schedule actually helps me overcome this whole depressive state. So it's been almost 3 years now since the diagnosis of my reactive depression, and ever since it hasn't came back, because I realized that I have friends who are by my side who I can talk to, and at any time I feel like I need to let things out, I know that there are a bunch of people that I can go to. I know not everyone in this world is as lucky as I am to have a group of people that they can talk to, or they trust enough to talk to, that will not judge them. But I just want to put it out that everyone deserves a helping hand, and if ever you need to talk to someone and you are not able to find one, or you are not able to afford to go to a psychologist, you guys can always drop me a message, and I'll always be here for you guys, to listen to you guys, to talk to you guys. You know, I've been through it, and so I know how you feel. I know how frustrating it is to constantly have the thoughts in your head and feeling like no one ever understands you in this world. But yeah, so today's video will be up to here. Just remember that if you ever get diagnosed with depression, you are never alone. There are more people in this world who are going through what you go through, and there are people who are in a worse situation than you are, but that doesn't mean that you should give up on yourself. And the most important thing to know is that every individual is different, and every individual in this world is as precious as a gem, and you just need to realize that yourself and not let what other people say bring you down or what other people feel affect you. Having depression is not easy. Not everyone is able to go through what we individuals go through. Not everyone is able to feel how we feel, and not everyone is able to help us the way we wanted to be helped. But there is no harm reaching out and talking to someone, even if you don't know that person. It helps you feel better, it helps you get things out of your system, it helps you realize that you are not alone in this world. So if anyone out there who's watching this and you have depression, or you think that you have depression and you are not ready to face your friends or your family, you can always talk to someone that you don't know. For example, me. So what I really want to say is that just don't give up on your life. Every life is worth living for. There's a reason why you're in this world. So today's video ends here, and I hope you guys find some of my experience and my advice useful and helpful, and I will see you guys in the next video.